Hey guys, my name is Yusuf. In today's video, I will let you guys know how much I paid in fuel taxes. So, for those who's wondering about the number only, let me tell you the numbers first, and then I'll explain some other stuff. So, for 3 months, for the third quarter, I drove roughly about 38,000 miles, and I paid $70. Yes, so I was thinking that I was gonna pay somewhere around $1,500, but then when I did my IFTA, and I found out that it was $70. So I was gonna just give them $100 and tell them, hey, just keep the change for tip. But yeah, anyways, but let me explain a couple of things, what IFTA is and like why you pay and stuff like that. Okay, so IFTA is International Fuel Tax Agreement, where the states have agreement between them that and also the countries like Canada and Mexico have agreement through the same IFTA agreement. Basically, what it is that if you fill up in one state and you drove through the other state without filling up in that state, basically that state wants to get their fair share of the highway tax, the fuel tax that you have used in their roads. So what does that mean? Let's say you live in Arizona and you do back and forth trip to California, and you only fill up in Arizona because California has much more expensive fuel than Arizona does, and you never purchase any fuel in California. What happens is that when at the end of the quarter comes, California wants to have their fair share of the fuel tax because you've never purchased any fuel in their state, but you drove in their state, you polluted the air in their state. So that's when the International Fuel Tax Agreement comes in. And how do you calculate that? I use Keep Trucking app, the ELD app that I use to keep my hourly hours of service. In that they have an option that you can choose. I think it's $5 extra if you choose the IFTA calculation, and I just pay a little extra. What they do is they pretty much calculate how many, keep track of how many miles I've driven where, and also if you upload your receipt every time you purchase a fuel, and you put how many gallons you have purchased in that. So at the end of the quarter, you can go to the IFTA, log in online and go to the IFTA option. It will give you how many gallons you have purchased in total, and how many miles you have driven in what state, and also it will give you a total as well. So based on that, you will figure out what's your MPG is, miles per gallon, and then you go to each state and then just write down how many miles you have driven in each state. And when you go to your commercial IRP account, that's where you do your IFTA. You pretty much you go to each state and say gallons purchased in that state, miles driven in that state, and based on that they will do their calculation automatically, so you don't have to do anything. The only thing you need to do is do 2 entries, or maybe 3 entries. I think 2 entries. Gallons purchased in that state, miles driven in that state, and your MPG. Based on that, they will calculate how much you owe that state, and then pretty much repeat it for the remaining jurisdictions that you've driven in. And it turns out that mine was $70. I was very happy about that, you know. And also, this is a very simple task. I hear a lot of people are paying $100, $200 for other agencies for them to file their IFTA. Guys, it's a simple thing. If you have a computer, and if you have obviously you have an online access, you just go ahead and do it yourself. Start a little early. What happens is that the third quarter is pretty much July, August, and September. So at the end of the September, that's when the quarter ends, and you have a month to file it. So between October 1st and October 31st, you have that time to file for your IFTA. So you have plenty of time for you to figure out how you do that. And yeah, just go ahead and do it and save yourself some money. And yeah, that's what I was gonna mention about IFTA. And another thing I was gonna mention is that if you are a non-CDL hotshot, if you stay below 26,000 pounds, you don't have to do IFTA at all. Even if you're purchasing diesel, you don't have to do IFTA. You're exempt from that tax, that's $70. A lot of people are afraid of doing a CDL hotshot because they think you're gonna pay a lot of money for in fuel taxes, and also they think that it's just too much work to keep track of it. But little do they know that if you use your ELD device that they give you, pretty much everything you need is already logged automatically through your portal. The only thing you need to do is just transfer those data and just do it once every three months. It's not that bad, right? So yeah, do your IFTA, do it on time, because I think they will charge you a little bit of penalty if you don't do it on time. And also the New Mexico, since I am from New Mexico, you are required to have, even if you are a non-CDL, you're still required to either purchase the IFTA, purchase the New Mexico weight distance permit, or like every time you cross this state line, you cross New Mexico, you need to buy the New Mexico weight distance permit. Or if you do not want to do that every time you get into the state, what you can do is you can get the number from the state. Go to what is this guy doing? You can go to New Mexico's website, the Commercial Bureau office, and then through that you can apply for your weight distance permit. And then what happens is that you do not need to buy every time you come into the state. However, you will pay it at the end of 3 months. So they give you a number, and at the end of 3 months, you pretty much mention how many miles you've driven in that state, in the state of New Mexico, and you will pay money based on the mileage you have driven in it. And mine, I think I drove 3,000 miles in New Mexico, and I thought this was gonna be like $400 or something like that, but it turns out it was $55. I think 55 or 65, something like that. It was not a crazy amount. And I also paid online, and I paid the convenience fee of $3, so I did not want to mail them a check. So those are two things that you pretty much pay every quarter. And also there are other permits that you need to buy. Let's say like Oregon mileage permit. If you're over 26,000 pounds, you need to purchase an Oregon's mile permit every time you cross Oregon, and then based on that mileage you pay for that permit, temporary permit. Or if you don't want to go through that all the time, and you are going to be driving through Oregon a lot, what you can do is go to Oregon's DMV or Commercial Bureau and get that Oregon mileage permit, the number that they give you, just like KYU, but for Oregon. And once you have that, you pretty much do it every 3 months again. But to do that, they require you to have a $2,000 bond. So I still have not done it. I have crossed Oregon multiple times. I think 8 or 9 times already. I think they do give you 24 permits per year. If you are gonna exceed 24 permits per year, then you need to have the actual number from the state, because it's just too much. That means you're coming through Oregon more than just one, more than usual. So that you need to have that. And another thing is worth to mention: New York HUT, you need to have that permit every time you're going through New York. And even if you're not CDL, if you're 18,000 pounds over and over, then you need to have HUT. I still have not done it. I need to do that. And lastly is that KYU. You don't need to have KYU because if you are a CDL, Hotshot, if you're a Hotshot, you don't need to have a KYU because KYUs are for trucks exceeding 59,000 pounds, and I'm pretty sure no Hotshot will exceed 59,000 pounds, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, anyways, those are the 4 permits that you need: New York, Oregon, New Mexico. KYU if you're 59,000 pounds over, and IFTA you need that if you are 26,000 pounds or over. And I think if you are non-CDL, you need to look at Arizona and Nevada, because if you don't have, they have a ruling for if you don't have an IRP, but if you're over, I think 10,000 pounds in combination, you need to have some number for Nevada and as well as Arizona. So if you're a non-CDL, take a look into that. But if you are a CDL and if you have IRP, then you actually do not have to worry about that at all. Anyways, guys, this is it. This will clarify how much you pay in fuel taxes, also and what other permits you need if you have your own rig. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.